And let's try that again. We are on mute. So we're here. Just like we said, it is second cup of coffee. Let's try that again. So I can think of a part where sometimes the energy is wrong.
Well, let's back up a little bit for all of the listeners and I love the fact that you guys stayed, even though you can't hear us on Facebook and we're on Twitch and YouTube. But Instagram, you can hear us just fine. But for those who are not on Instagram, we're talking about what it takes to shift from being, quote, wrong to being, quote, right.
Mm-hmm. And there we go. So yeah, appreciate it, Chris. We were for a moment in the dark, but now we are found.
There you go.
There you go.
Chris, you are awesome. Thank you always for listening. You are amazing. Peace, love, and
in about a month, we'll be set up in a new studio, and I think we'll
and it's all
have
gonna
our
go
flow,
wrong again.
and then everything will break twice over. But shifting your energy from right to wrong, right? So that could just blow things up. Oh no, it didn't happen, didn't work. But regardless, make sure we're not starting a conversation asking a question that leads to a negative answer. What comes to mind is sometimes people like to talk, and their first thing is, has this week been stressful?
Oh,
and has your week been really tough? Well, that's leading you into a part of where do you go from that? Because ultimately, people like to commiserate together. Almost if they're having something wrong, find others to go with, right? So your energy flows in that direction instead of just saying, you know what? No, I've had a great week, because you're looking for it. And you may have had a bad week, right? That happens. I mean, how are we going to know a good week if we've had a bad week? But ultimately, even to say that sounds weird, right? Because do I ever really have like a bad week? I mean, there's still good moments in it, right? So I can think of reasons or, outliers where things happen that aren't great, but you can't just say, hey, yeah, my whole week is horrible.
No.
Because then where does it start? Then your month is horrible, your year is horrible.
Especially if you're talking to somebody else and you kind of open up the entire conversation with, wow, I'm having a bummer week.
Yeah.
Are you having a bummer week? Because I'm having a bummer week. And hopefully that other person takes the cue and is just like, okay, now I just got to be extra uplifting and pull this guy up. If that's something you want to do. I would not always choose to do that though, because that, especially if it's someone who always approaches a conversation like that in that negative way, it comes to a point where you're going to have to make the decision whether or not you want to spend your energy. If it's somebody that for instance, I know a bunch of people who are always pleasant, are always just they put their best foot forward, they try their hardest. But sometimes, especially sometimes in the mamas groups I'm with, sometimes the mama that I'm talking with, and this is in a safe place, she's like, Peely, I'm just not feeling it today. I've had to do A, B, and C today, and I just can't. And I'm like, okay, girl, then just don't. Sometimes you just got to be like, okay, be where you are at, live in it for a sec. And then, you know what? Sometimes you just got to pull yourself out, but don't stay in that place forever. How does this go from wrong and right to kind of like low and high? I guess it's sort of the same thing, right? Right.
So right now, just take it for what it is. We can always find the good or choose to stay with the bad. And it is a choice, right? We can choose to have the reaction that carries us forward. But if you're constantly reacting instead of acting, that's going to put you in a state where everything that comes into you, you're not going to be ready for. So choosing that today will be a good day. There'll be moments that maybe don't work. There'll be moments where but is that a lesson? It generally is. It's generally a lesson for us to use to carry forward. If we take that lesson and take it to that next step and take this a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further, it puts us in a space where we're now ready for good things to happen. We're now ready for great things to happen, and they will magically come to us more, right? Most people don't find, I think luck is a weird thing, right? Oh, he got lucky, but generally, or she got lucky, but generally that doesn't happen. They were prepared for the right opportunity to be in front of them. Hey guys, again, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our show.
And if you love what you see, and I know you do, please rate, review, and subscribe. It would mean so much to us.
Yeah, it absolutely means the world to us, helps us get out to a wider audience, really just capture more people that we can help here with this show. Again, if you're getting value, check us out. Thank you again.
So grateful to you.
Opportunities come to us each and every day, and it's us realizing or witnessing that's available within us to say, okay, I'm ready for this. But we don't generally show up when the opportunity comes. The person who's there, in a sports thing, that it's that big moment. It's not like they're just showing up. I think it's like Usain Bolt. They said he's made like $80 million over the course. Maybe it's more, $180 million over the course.
Who made a really good point about this? Hakeem, how do you say last name?
Valles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hakeem Valles. I was on his TikTok the other day, and he was like, somebody asked, how do you get a spot on the NFL team? Like, how do you get people to see you? And I don't know what they call it, coaches and scouts. Scouts. I knew I would think of the word. I'm not sports brained. So our friend Hakeem was like, well, number one, I don't even have to tell you number 2 and 3, because this number 1 thing, he said to put the effing work in. So putting the work in means like opening your eyes and making sure you're not in the dregs, and making sure that you're always looking for that opportunity, always like looking around. It's good to be focused, but be open at the same time.
Yeah, so Usain Bolt, I think the thing was he's made $180 million for 20 seconds of work that he spent 20 years to train for, right? Yes. So when you do that, it wasn't like he just showed up and just magically did it. It's been the effort that's been put forth. And, I had a coaching call today, and just some of the students, they're on the new side of just putting in their work. And it's that point of they're not seeing the full result yet, because it's too early. You have to allow the work and the footprint to be made, right? If you haven't had the footprint made and you jump off and jump on it, it puts you in this precarious position where you're constantly 3 feet from gold, because you're never allowing the steps to work in your favor. You're never allowing the good energy to come to you. You're always cutting yourself short because you're putting in the steps, but then you're stopping prematurely because it in your mind, it hasn't happened quick enough, or where it's not there. But for all the people that are having it, are they lucky, or have they just put in the work? And generally, they've just put in the work.
I just had a messenger conversation with someone who's new to large multifamily. And I was trying to see what she wanted to do, how she wanted to approach this. She wanted information on, like, she wanted to jump directly to the money aspect of large multifamily. And I already know, okay, she's definitely new to the space, because that's really the last thing you think about, even though it's the first thing you see. Because if you're in real estate, chances are you started flipping and wholesaling, and those, while could be large amounts, when you get into large multifamily, you could be raising millions upon tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars for these properties that you're taking down. So, but that's the last thing you think about. The first thing you think about is networking and learning as much as possible when it comes to like free content, and then finding yourself a mentor that can guide you through the process. So I tried my best with what space I had with her. And from our conversation, I was like, okay, you need to network, because she already had the mindset, because she was like, well, I only want to take a building down by myself because I don't know enough people with money. Well, let's backtrack on this a little bit. The way you meet people, I'm already giving you the answer. The way you find people with money is you meet them. And the thing is, you network. And I mean, when Jason and I first started, we didn't know people with money until we started talking about it, talking to our doctors, our dentists, our chiropractor, our other mentorship people in the mentoring program that we were in house flipping. They ended up being some of our best investors. But those are all people that grew up with us. They didn't have the money at the time, but we grew up with them, and we took down our first property. And as our second, our third came on, we were able to bring them on because they saw our track record, and we were able to raise money and provide opportunity to basically our friends.
So to finish this out, because we're here, is that mostly it's because you haven't had enough conversations to know that you don't. And if you tell yourself you don't, then you won't. So if you don't know enough people with the money, then you won't find the money. But if you have enough conversations, you'll be shocked to see who you could help out there, who you could provide a good opportunity for. That just sitting there on the sideline that's saying, I wish I had more access to good opportunities. Yeah. And you two just haven't connected yet. So ultimately tell yourself the answer before asking the question. And so many times we tell ourselves that nobody's going to want us, and nobody's going to want us in a relationship. We could never do this because we're never meant to be fit. We're predisposed to have a bad mood. So we're already giving ourselves the answer without putting ourselves in a position to succeed. So that's what we got today.
Yeah, that's what we got.
We are going to see you tomorrow. We're going to maybe do it a little bit better tomorrow, because today, although it was the best we got today, there's always room to grow. Maybe tomorrow we'll put the mute button off to start, so maybe you'll hear us. Maybe we'll get a video up. Maybe we'll have a couple of other things, and maybe we'll bring both bulldogs, because right now we just got one in the room.
As long as I got my cup of coffee, I'm good.
All right, guys, we are going to see you tomorrow.
Join us for your second cup of coffee every Monday through Friday at noon.
Live every day, bringing us our best content we've done so far. Super excited, super engaging, bunch of great guests. We're here to answer your questions, and we so appreciate you listening. Make sure to check this out.
Can't wait to see you.